I think it was time. I was almost 75 at that time, and I wanted to shake it up a little bit. I'm an artist. I've shown work in New York, of course, and elsewhere.
You came with a purpose to invest in property to live here?
Yeah, invest in property and get my golden visa.
You were lucky then. It was the
I was
first
lucky.
phase.
It was like 250 or something.
It was 250, yes.
Yeah, and the Con Park, which is like an $8 billion project, hadn't started. And so now we've got this whole project going that, of course, ups the price of the real estate also, and really create a house that was like a first-class house, smart home, which we did. 2 cinemas. There's the outdoor cinema, indoor cinema downstairs for the rest of the year when it's a little cooler. Theo in the States, the father of the home cinema or something, modern home cinema. He can go back there and have, an ouzo or something and see the movie just to fulfill that dream, childhood dream.
That's amazing.
And I got a piano. I brought my piano actually from New York. It's like moving here. That's an achievement.
Welcome to Inside Greek Real Estate, fueled by PMD. I'm Theo Kalomirakis, Managing Director of PMD Real Estate, which is based on the Athens Riviera in Greece. Inside Greek Real Estate is a podcast that basically focuses on opening conversations in regards to real estate in Greece, experience from foreign investors or private individuals, showcasing their experience while buying a property in Greece. So today, I'd like to welcome John Thompsen, who's actually from the United States, and he's moved to Greece. So, John, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just a brief...
just about myself in general?
Yeah, just a few things.
I grew up in the United States, in the Midwest. Lived in New York City most of my life for like 40-something years. Lived in LA, lived a lot of places in the U.S. And I'm an artist. I've shown work in New York, of course, and elsewhere, and sold around the world. And I've done many things, but I'm sure there are more interesting things to talk about than me.
Okay. So, what first brought you to Greece, John?
What first brought me to Greece, I had worked at a magazine called Greek Accent when I first moved back from L.A. To New York. I'd lived in New York. I moved back then in 1980. And a friend of mine, Theo Kalomirakis, who's like my oldest friend there, and I started a magazine in conjunction with the National Herald newspaper. And so I got very interested in Greece because we did articles on history, on food, on the people, on the poets, on the everything. And so when Theo wanted to take a trip back to Greece, which he hadn't been for many years, I went along and we had a great time and discovered Crete and Santorini and Mykonos and all the islands, and it was a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how this...
Who knew that I would get into a Greek-American magazine in New York City? But it was great.
That is great. That is great. So you were based in the United States.
Yeah.
What was it that made you... And you've decided to relocate to Greece. So what was it that made you come to this decision, John?
Well, you mean actually to move here?
Yes, to relocate.
Well, the decision was, I think it was time. I was almost 75 at that time. And I wanted to shake it up a little bit. And I'd been to Greece many times and to the islands. And I knew Greeks. I knew quite a few Greeks, some the famous and the infamous. And I just liked the country. I loved, the food. I loved the people. I loved the islands, of course. The history. And I wanted to know it better, I think. And also, Theo was moving back, and I said, well, this is a perfect opportunity, to actually move to Greece. Because with him coming also, I didn't feel like I was just adrift in a country, because he speaks Greek and he knows Greece. And so that was helpful. And also we could kind of join money and forces and get and really create a house that was like a first-class house, smart home, and which we did. And so we have the jacuzzi, the all kinds of the pergola, the 2 cinemas. There's the outdoor cinema for the summer and the spring, and then the indoor cinema downstairs for the rest of the year when it's a little cooler. And, and have friends over, see movies. It's just a lot of fun. And I think I told you the story about Theo, that he used to, when he lived in Greece, he would always go over, because it was near Kolokotroni, where they lived, to the Egli Theater and try to climb up, to see the movies. And sometimes he got some posters from there also, and which he saved over the years, and then was able to actually create an area when you go into the movie theater in the back, the outdoor movie theater, where you can show these old posters from...
I remember seeing them.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Just to keep the audience informed, Theo and John, they bought a property in Athens, in the Linikol, and it has a very large garden, and they transformed the large garden into Theo made a open classic Greek summer cinema, and underground they have an amazing closed cinema. So they have 2 cinemas because they have a passion for cinema. So I've been lucky. I was invited, and they showed me their what they created, which is it's quite amazing. So that story that you mentioned about in the garden, where they have the seats, there are some corners where they have some hidden seats where you can see the movie from a distance, and that's there was where you can go the yard. It's an Esoyo apartment or a ground floor apartment, and so the yard was pretty much brown when we got there, and so we've created like incredible plants, and that whole jacuzzi area wasn't there. It was just growing up with weeds. And so now that's a gorgeous area with cacti. And then you can go back to the pergola area across the yard and go down. It's like a little corridor that has some little fruit trees and some plants and also a couple of seats where Theo always wanted, to be able to see a theater from kind of a hidden place. And so he can go back there and have, an ouzo or something and see the movie just to fulfill that dream, childhood dream. That's amazing. I love that story.
Yeah.
So when you came here, you came with a purpose to invest in property to live here?
Yeah, invest in property and get my golden visa.
So yes, I remember. And yes, you took
Yeah.
advantage of the golden regime.
And so you have to invest a certain amount. I think maybe now it's more, but at
Now
that
it is
time-
more. You were
And
lucky then. It was the
I was
first
lucky.
phase.
It was like
Yeah,
$250 or
It was
something.
$250. Yes.
And we, of course, invested much more than that in it. But and the Elinikon Park area and project, which is like an $8 billion project, hadn't started yet.
Back then, yeah.
It just started like a month after or something. And so now we've got this whole project going that, of course, ups the price of the real estate also.
It's changed the whole...
Changed the whole area. And it's really a nice, the experience park where I just had a little girl from a friend of friends and took her over to the experience park the other day to this water thing where the water shoots up
the
and they can run and the kids have such a fun time over there. And it's one of the best children's playgrounds, I think, anywhere.
In all of Athens, I'd say.
Not just all of Athens. I think just about anywhere where they can just climb and slide and.
That is great.
Yeah,
it's great because that was something that was missing from Athens.
Yeah,
in general, something like a good place for children. So.
No, and people who have come from the States will say, "Oh, I wish we had something like that, around so our children could play."
Okay.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you're happy that you made that decision, and actually the location that you chose, that was actually you.
It was a great location.
You had a vision back then because you looked forward. You guys decided Elinikon because you understood that that area had potential to for capital gains to.
It had a lot of potential, and also I was having trouble with a hip.
Oh.
And so luckily there's a very amazing Mediterraneo hospital nearby where I went, and they did a great job. The doctor there was amazing. And also the reason I got it because of the hip was it's close to one of the biggest supermarkets. It's next to the metro. It's next to the taxi stands. It's, it was like the perfect area. You could just, and I didn't want to get a car here and drive around because I figure if you're going to have a car, I can rent a car. I can, if I want a car sometime. I've got a parking lot that I gave to a woman.
You did?
Yeah. And so she's been using it for years now.
You're a generous neighbor.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So the location is great. You don't need a car. You can just move around with the metro or rent a car.
No, it's like 20 minutes or something like that into the center of Athens. And you can go anywhere,
And you were happy with your experience with the surgery that you had and everything?
The surgery was great. In fact, 2 years later, I had the other hip.
Okay.
And that was just as good. It's now I'm climbing mountains and, you can't stop me from,
Excellent.
going. I was up in Thessaloniki area.
Yeah.
Last, a year ago, I guess, and went with some friends to Veria.
Okay.
And sat where St. Paul sat, these ancient 2,000 years ago or something. And then about a half an hour more, I went to where Philip of Macedon, Alexander's father, Alexander the Great's father, was buried and all of that, and then climbed up to his the palace, which is a long climb, which I never would have been able to do. But, it was so much fun.
So you're enjoying the history and...
the history, the beauty,
locations.
the artistry. It's pretty incredible.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Glad to hear that.
And there was a little village where a friend of mine's mother still lives, Monospita, it's called. And so we stopped there and had great meals. She was cooking up a storm.
Okay.
Very nice.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's a beautiful area. Skiing up there also.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were there any, again, when you decided to proceed with the purchase of a property here, it's a huge decision for somebody that comes from abroad. Were there any considerations when you decided to make that?
Not really, because, money is usually the main consideration of anything. And we had that money, to put into whatever was necessary. And it was fairly easy to get workmen, to come. And so that wasn't a problem. We had a good contractor. And there wasn't any major problem I can think of. You have to get a lawyer. You have to get, a good real estate person in the first place to find the place.
To find the place and coordinate.
Which was you.
Thank you. To coordinate things for the process. I'm quite, I find it interesting that you had the, let's say, you had the intention to renovate and upgrade the property that you bought.
Yeah.
So you were quite brave, because a lot of foreigners, most of our clients that come in from abroad, they usually, they're a bit concerned to get into that process. So they want something that's either ready, brand new, or fully renovated. So you're quite daring, you and Theo, with this process.
Well, I think probably I wouldn't have been as daring if there wasn't someone who spoke Greek who was going to be in it with me, which is helpful.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
Even though I think if you find a good contractor that you can really trust and, deal with and work with, it can work. Of course, now, because there's such a boom in Greece, at that time it was not as
busy.
As many people buying and interested in buying in Greece, but now there are more and more and more, and I think it's a good thing for people if they want to buy in Greece. It's a good time to do that because it just keeps getting more popular.
Okay, that's
for good reasons.
Yeah. Very interesting. How did you find the process of buying a property in Greece and renovating compared to the US? If you like,
compared to the US, it wasn't that different, really. And I've, had a number of homes I renovated in the US, in New York. And it was pretty much the same, you find your contractor, you deal with the contractor, like I say, it probably is helpful that Theo could speak Greek here, but you can always find someone that can help you with that. I didn't have any problems like that. And it was just, of course, in August, people leave, so you have to wait for them to come back. But that's nice. They come back ready to go.
So the biggest challenge in Greece is August, where everyone goes on holidays.
That's a bit of a challenge. But then you can go away in August too, so it's all good.
It's all part of the...
It's all part of the thing. Of course, there are always adjustments to any new place. But, I moved to Greece or to New York when I was probably 20. And so from the Midwest, in a small community in the Midwest, that was a big adjustment. And so you have to, it's like moving here. That's an adjustment, but you can do it.
Yes.
And if I can do it at that age, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently, or are you happy of how you handled and the whole process and your decision making, let's say?
Well, I think a very important thing is to look for, I think people coming to Greece, if they don't know Greece well, and they don't know exactly where they want to be. Do they want to be in Thessaloniki? Do they want to be in a village? Do they want to live on an island? Do they want to, and they're not familiar that much with Greece. It's better, I would get a car and go around Greece to different areas and see where do I want to be. I wanted to be in Athens because it's a great city, and it has the theater, it has the arts, it has the things that I'm interested in, yes. And also the history, and great restaurants. It's got a lot of good things. But if I didn't want to live in Athens and I didn't know where I wanted to live, I would really take a tour around and stop at different realtors around the country and ask, them to show me properties. And also, I would find out if people around me, if you're English speaking, speak some English, so you don't feel isolated in that way. So that I would do. But a realtor, and I'm not saying that because of you, but it's very important. And also to find a good lawyer.
Yes.
And oftentimes a realtor can give you names of lawyers too. But it's important to find a good lawyer who you can really trust and, isn't going to try to overcharge. And many of them don't. But you have to, like anywhere, you have to be careful of all of these things. So it's really look around the country if you don't know it well and say, because some people want to be in the mountains. Some people want to be in a village. Some people want to be on an island, so you have to really look, where do I really want to be?
That's great information that you're sharing.
Yeah.
And that was something I was going to ask you, and you just answered yourself. You chose why you chose Athens. We get a lot of people that are between in moving to Athens or some island, but we've noticed that most of them, not all of them, but a large amount, they end up preferring Athens for the purpose of they use Athens as a base, and then they can just, there's easy access to islands, to northern Greece and to other parts of Greece.
It is.
And they can always change and have something new and keep Athens as their base.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've noticed. And in regards to choosing a lawyer, always, my advice is always get, before you make any decision, always have in writing what they're going to charge beforehand. That's my advice to everybody listening.
Yeah.
With everyone that you deal with, get everything in writing beforehand. Don't just leave things open. So in that way, that'd be quite safe, I think, with any process like that.
Yes, and like I said, I think really my experience with you, for instance, is that if you have a good realtor, that they can really set you on the right path, or at least give you suggestions that are very helpful. I think that's a very important thing. And again, it's not because I'm talking to you, but I think it really is. And you've even given me names for contractors, people that I could use now. So, yeah, that's very important. A lawyer, a realtor.
Engineer also during the process of due diligence.
And if you need an accountant, which you might, that's another
an accountant
important thing
after the purchase. Yes, you need a good accountant.
Yeah,
to help with the aftermath.
Yes,
annual property tax and Okay, great, interesting, very interesting, very nice information you're sharing with us here.
I've got to give them information because I know how it is.
Can we go back to the outdoor cinema? What? Yes,
You love the cinema.
Yeah, I love the cinema.
I do too.
So, what ignited this? Was it something you had in a vision beforehand, or did it what ignited this, to transform the property?
Well, I think because Theo in the States was called, what do they call him? The father of the home cinema or something, modern home cinema. Something like that, anyway. And then I think he became the grandfather of the home, and something like that. But he was like the premier cinema builder, and it was something he always dreamed of. I think even as a child, on Kolokotroni in the middle of Athens, he had like a sheet up on the roof, and they would project. Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Must have been amazing.
I think maybe Angelopoulos went there. I know some of the old filmmakers were up there. Even when he was a kid.
Amazing.
I mean, a young guy, young man. Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And so, of course, and then those theaters from the States, people here in Greece heard about them, some of the wealthy people. And so he made theaters for them and for actors and for, shipbuilders.
Yeah.
And also in China and all over, really. So that's kind of how the theaters came about.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah,
that is. I find it very interesting. I
yeah.
was very surprised when I visited. They called me after they finished the transformation of the property, and I was really surprised. It is immaculate.
Yeah. No, and you think about it when you think about going to a different country, like when Theo was probably 21 or something, and went to the United States. You go and you're basically, cooking eggs or something for people, and at first, and then one thing leads to the other, and, you have this business.
That is quite amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Did you face any challenges, while you're here, moving from the United States, living in Greece, irrelevant of the property purchase, if there were any challenges with that, but in general, living here, is there anything?
The language is something else. I would suggest to anybody moving that they get Duolingo, and study some Greek and all of that. It's not an easy language for Americans anyway. I think some people it's easier for other countries. But certainly for Americans, it's a challenge. But so many, of course, do speak English here. But I would get, a good translation engine also, because let's say you have gardeners, like I have some gardeners who come weekly, and most of them are Egyptian. And so they don't speak much English, and they don't speak that much Greek, some of them. So you have to use a lot of, tree, bush, but it's not really that bad. It's and there's usually a head guy who speaks some English or some Greek anyway. So it's not that difficult. But it's a good thing to know some Greek, if you can. And if you don't, you'll learn some.
Yeah, you have to.
It's not that.
But in general, are people in various, let's say, services in Greece? Do most people know English? Are they able to help? Is it like a big issue not knowing Greek?
Yes, most. Like what, for instance? Which?
Let's say if you go to a restaurant or if you go to.
Well, that's no problem.
You can eat all you want. Where you went. Were they able to help in English? In these kind of.
Yeah, in that way, most people do.
Okay.
Like in any country, I think people might like to speak their own language, but they're very good about it.
When needed, they'll
when needed, and they're fine. It's not a problem, and then you learn some, and then they're thrilled, if you say hi in Greek, and you say, posise,
They love
and
it.
they say, oh my God, you're brilliant. So that's nice.
And you're taking lessons. You're learning Greek.
Oh, I've taken lessons, but I'll tell you, like I was telling you, I started out with 6 students at this school in Glyfada some years ago, and I think I'm the only one that's still trying to learn my best.
Persistent.
And they haven't needed to, really, because there's plenty of English,
So you're the steady student there. You still go. You're loyal to for the cause.
Well, I'm not loyal to that course. I've done my own courses.
Okay.
And I think I've made about 400 and something recordings of Greek words. And now one day I'll have time to play them all back and learn. But, it's a challenge for sure.
It is. It's not easy.
But most people don't expect you
Yeah.
to speak, to Greek. I mean, of course it's nice, but it's not necessary.
It's a challenge for me too. I came 12 years old to Greece, and I knew a little bit of Greek.
Yeah.
But it was a challenge, and I still, even though I've learned my Greek is quite good after so many years, I read and write.
Well, yeah.
But still, I still have an accent, and the people that are from here, they will pick up on the accent. So it's not easy. It's not easy.
No. Now, my accent isn't the problem. Everyone says, oh, you've got a great accent. If you could just say a little more.
That's great.
Anyway, it's not a problem.
So, John, has your life changed a lot living in Greece, or are you able to?
Well, yes, there have been changes. The one thing in New York, of course, living there over the years, so many years, really, you meet so many people and you can interact, Andy Warhol, Patti Smith, all these, people that you knew as you were growing through the years. And so that kind of thing where you're always running into somebody famous and talking, and that has changed. And also all the galleries. Greece has galleries, of course. And I haven't had enough time in Thessaloniki, but I know they have quite a number of museums up there.
Yes.
But there's so many in galleries and museums in New York that I would go to all the time. So I miss that some. But I go here also, and there are some nice ones, Goulandris and, the National Gallery, and there are some very nice ones here too. But yes, that I miss, and just walking around New York is always like something new. But Athens has a lot, and it's changed so much over the years, and it's continuing to change for the better in many ways with the restaurants and and also the arts, and the Onassis Center, Niarchos. There's much more than when I first came, like I said, in 1983 to visit. So it's very. It's growing all the time too, and then there's the great Acropolis Museum.
Yes,
which is amazing.
The new museum.
Yeah, it's nice to have breakfast there and then go to the museum and hang out. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right. I'm very pleased to hear that. You're enjoying life.
Yeah, and you
see the difference.
And there's so many places to go in Greece. I mean, you just go a little ways. Take a bus or a plane or whatever to the Ionian Islands.
Yes.
And there you can go. Like I was in Corfu one Easter where they have huge celebrations and bands. Like I think they had 15 bands, and they had, big
the pots
Easter. The pots, oh my gosh, the pots being thrown out of the windows. And I remember on TV seeing last year some girl walking under the windows knowing their pots were going to be thrown. But you've got to stay away from the windows. And
Correct.
But all those Ionian Islands are amazing for Easter or any time. They're beautiful islands, and the Cyclades, all of Greece has great islands.
Beautiful islands.
Beautiful. And I'm not going to mention my favorite island because then everyone might.
You're gonna
already I've mentioned some islands and people keep going there, and too many people.
You prefer it less people.
Yes.
So we won't mention your favorite island. I know you told me during our drive here, so okay, I'll keep it a secret.
Keep it a secret.
But
I'll mention yours.
No. Has Greece influenced your work as an artist at all?
Well, it's almost funny. Because I've been so busy with doing things with the house, and then also with my Greek and studies and other things that I'm interested in, that I haven't really. I've been setting up the studio for some time, and now I'm getting lighting in the studio. Which is really good lighting, the right lumens, the right CRI, it's called, you have to have a certain CRI. And that's going to be a process now, so that I can really get into more work, probably in September or something like that. And but as far as influencing the work, it's not about landscapes or anything. I thought it might be, when I came. But I studied this Greek, the letters so much that I think I might try something using these letters in art.
That's interesting.
Like a design kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or what else was I thinking the other day? Oh, I want to make. I don't know if I'll do it or not, but the idea of making an Ohi poster. I see Ohi Day, every year. It's a big deal. And I see these posters. They're all like blue, and they all look very pretty and all of that. And something a little more visceral, maybe, with this Ohi thing.
That would
with
be
the
very interesting.
letter. Yeah. And that's kind of the influence, just because I'm with those letters all the time.
Yeah, yes.
And there's some beautiful letters. I like the look of a lot of the letters. So we'll see what happens.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, and I got a piano. I brought my piano actually from New York. I thought I would have more time than I have to practice it, and I got a system where you can either play it, where you can hear it, or not hear it. That's elaborate.
Some earphones.
You have the earphones. You have a whole
some amazing technology that you got there with the piano.
And but I want to have more time to practice and things. But there's so much to do.
So many things to do. You keep yourself very busy in Greece. That's what I've noticed.
Very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to start that possible art project.
I'm hoping
after you visit that secret Greek island that you've just mentioned. You're going to take a break for summer, obviously.
Oh yeah. I'll take a couple of breaks.
August is
go to Crete for a while.
Okay.
And some of the beaches and places there. I like Crete. It was the first island I ever went to. And Theo's brother actually lived in Heraklion. He was the head of the, what is the museum there? Like an archaeological museum.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was my first experience of the Greek islands, and then took a tour not all around Crete, but half around. And really loved the island and always have.
Very interesting.
That's not the island, though, I was talking about.
I know. And just as we had a chat before we started recording here about how your experience with some of those Greek islands back in 1983, how different things are. Would you like to briefly share that with Because I found that very interesting. If you want.
It's fine.
The difference of how hospitality was back then.
Yeah, there was a group of us, for instance, that went to Santorini. That was 1983. And it was so different then, of course. For one thing, it was all Greek. And then we stayed, there were 5 of us. We stayed in a home, like a couple of bedrooms, I guess. And it was just a few drachmas.
Yeah.
And the woman then made beans for us. She ironed the clothes. She did all that. And the thing I remember was seeing a donkey, go up the hill with a scale with tomatoes, and you could weigh the things and that.
Wow. So that was the first form of hospitality back then, how it was then.
Very different. And Mykonos, the same kind of thing, You'd get up in the morning, the lady would fix you warm milk with honey and
amazing times. So there are various incentives that the Greek government has applied for foreign investors. We had a chat beforehand. One is, let's say, for people, a pensioner that transfers their tax base into Greece.
Yeah,
they can have a tax incentive. You didn't take advantage of that?
I haven't taken advantage of it. No one said anything about it, so I'll find out more about it.
So there is a tax incentive for people that transfer their pension to Greece. So we can. I'll definitely have my accountant to brief you on this.
Yeah, and of course I have an accountant also. I could ask, but it would be interesting. That'd
be good to look into.
Yeah.
Right. But there's no other incentives. Like the only incentive you actually you took advantage of is the golden visa. Let's say that.
Yes. Yeah.
And that whole process. You were happy with the process. You're happy that this.
Yes, in many ways. If you get this golden visa, and you get your card, don't lose it anywhere, because someone actually stole mine in Paris.
In Paris, not here.
In Paris, not here. Okay. I mean, every big city you have anywhere. To be careful.
Yeah.
But someone stole it. So it took like a long time, and then you have to go and report and all of this. But the golden visa, like the renewal now.
Yes, the renewal.
It seems like you're never going to get another card because it takes like 9 months or something or longer to get the renewal. So you're wondering, but it does come.
It does actually.
Eventually it comes, but you're wondering, why didn't it come?
Yeah, the bureaucracy in that area isn't where it should be.
Yeah.
But they're working on it.
So
but
nobody cared about it.
Yeah. The advice that I would like to share is for people that need to renew their golden visa to not wait till it expires, start the process at least 6 months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a little bit more than that.
Oh, okay.
So that's good information you shared there in regards to the renewal part. That's a little bit...
because...
It annoyed you a little bit. Yeah.
Well, it didn't annoy me. It worried me. Yeah. I was thinking, is it going to come?
Even worse.
And then they kept saying, no, it's going to come. It's going to come. And then it did come.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have had to worry. But in the States, it would have come faster.
It would have been, the process would have been quicker.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Every place has its problems.
Yes.
It's not a big problem because it came.
Okay. That's good.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Good. Excellent. What would you say to somebody from abroad that's considering to move to Greece, purchase a property, anything you'd like to share for somebody that's thinking about it and not quite sure?
Well, I would just say, first of all, like I said before, find a good realtor. And then if you're really interested, get a good lawyer, get these people that can help you.
Good team.
Yeah. And because there are a lot of properties, even in Athens, there are a lot of different areas. you might want to be in the north, the south, the east, the west, so you have to really look around. Let's say even in Athens, I had thought at one time it would be nice to be in the center. Okay. And, and it probably is nice to be in the center, if you have the perfect place. But I really kind of prefer where I eventually landed in the southern part, in Glyfada, Leniko, this area. There are a lot of nice areas in those southern suburbs, and it's green, a lot of greenery, and open and near the sea, so there are a lot of good qualities in the south. And then in the north, of course, you have beautiful suburbs also. I mean, all over Athens, you can find something that's beautiful.
There are different characteristics based on
different characters, and the weather is also different.
Do you like the weather here? Is it?
Well, I'm not saying just here in Greece, but in Athens. I mean, if you're in the north, you're going to have different weather than in southern Athens. So then you have to say, do I want it, a little cooler sometimes? Do I want whatever you want? Yeah. And find out what area weather-wise, because there are a lot of microclimates.
You're actually correct. That
yeah.
is, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my climate is, they call it like the Miami of Athens or something, because it's a little warmer.
It is.
And, of course, in my area, because in my house, I have a lot of breeze because there's so much green around and just the way it's set up.
Yeah.
So it's always nice and breezy for breakfast. You can go out and have your breakfast with a nice breeze. And at night, there's a nice breeze coming in. So
even during summer, right?
Even during the summer, yeah. Some kind of convection current maybe or something.
That's amazing.
Whatever it is, it's pleasant.
Yeah.
And once the sun is a little lower or has gone down, it's nice. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Very nice, yeah.
Very nice. That's something that a lot of people they miss. They don't understand that in Greece, you spend a lot of time outdoors. Like
yes.
If you have a garden or a large veranda,
yeah,
you spend a lot of time outdoors.
You do. And then you also want to have some idea, especially if you're in an area like mine, which is like a sigrotima, they call it, like a complex of buildings. You want to, just check around and get an idea of the neighbors and the neighborhood and all of that. And my neighbors have been very nice. And, they invited me, one family, for waffles for my birthday recently. And others, are very friendly and chatty. The girl upstairs, I do some English-Greek exchange with. So, the people I found them to be quite nice.
Welcoming.
It's
very important. That's very important. That's very important.
It's very important. And I don't see people all the time because I'm working, in my studio or whatever. But and I'm fairly friendly with people, so that probably makes a difference too.
Of course.
But I found them to be very nice neighbors. Yeah.
So they're hospitable, let's say.
Yeah. Yes, and they always bring, when they come, for coffee, or if they come maybe for a movie or something, they always bring something like portokolopita, or they bring a pie, a cake, something.
That is,
which is kind of unusual for, I think, a lot of people. Maybe a lot of countries aren't that hospitable in that way. I'm not saying in every way they're going to be so generous, but in that way, it's a very nice tradition, I think.
It makes you feel welcome.
Makes you feel welcome, and it makes, it's just a nice, it's a very nice thing to do, to bring something. Yeah.
It's very, very interesting, very nice to hear that you're having a great experience.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
Okay. So, John, all this, your experience is very interesting. It's very nice to hear that you're having a pleasant time in Greece. Is there anything like anything negative you want to highlight that you not or negative or something that you believe needs improvement in living here about Greece?
There are sometimes I've seen certain sites where you would like to be able to read, the information better. Maybe the banks aren't too bad, but there should be a little. It would be helpful, a little more English. But you can also go to the bank and talk to people if you have any issues with that. So that's the only thing. But it's something you can work around, or hopefully have some good friends. Like I have one very good friend here who's always helpful. If I have any questions or, find a good friend. And nothing. And if you don't have one, you'll be able to function anyway. And the other thing that bothers me, and I wish there was a way to, I don't know how it can be solved, graffiti. Some of these beautiful neoclassical buildings, some of the beautiful old buildings in Greece and new, there needs to be some way to stop and get rid of that graffiti, because I've had a couple of friends coming from the U.S. and they said, we've been to a number of capitals and there's more graffiti here, in Europe than, and I don't know why that can't be stopped, and maybe it can be, but it should be, because there are many, many beautiful places that some, little goofball has done something with, and it's not nice graffiti. It's not good graffiti. It's it's just dumb graffiti.
Totally agree. It annoys me. And I've heard that from many people.
Yeah.
I just hope that something will happen. I know that.
I hope so.
They're looking into doing something about it, but let's hope it happens soon.
Yeah.
It's an eyesore.
Yeah.
It's an eyesore.
It would be very nice. Luckily, in many areas, you don't have that. Like where I am, there's almost nothing like that, or Glyphada, or a lot of these areas. But in the center,
it's a shame.
Or Exarchia or something. Even though I like Exarchia.
You do?
Especially when it's late.
Okay.
There's actually a great old movie theater there. It's an outdoor theater called Riviera. Do you know that place?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, it's a great old theater. They're in a very nice restaurant right next to it. And it's so active at night. People are all sitting around, talking and,
So you like that vibe?
It's a very nice vibe. It's not that I'm a late night person, but I enjoy it when you're there and you see everybody enjoying themselves.
Okay, great.
Yeah, nice.
John, thank you so much for your time
You're
today.
Very welcome.
Your insights are very, very helpful, and I'm sure a lot of people that will be listening will find it useful.
I hope so.
I'm happy that your experience here is positive.
Yes, it is.
And thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you for bringing me.
We've come to an end of yet another episode of Inside Greek Real Estate. I hope you enjoyed the interview with John Thompson. I found it very useful and very interesting. If you have any questions for future episodes, feel free to drop a message or send an email to info@pmdrealestate.gr. Thank you for your time.